Well, wrestling fans, the Blaisdell Center Arena, 8,732 fans jammed in there with Bobby the Brain Heenan, manager of the AWA World Champion Nick Bockwinkel, being ordered out of the ring and into a steel cage. There's a referee, Nolan Rodrigues, the Portuguese Flash, ordering him into the cage. These are the rules. The contract signed 4 weeks before this match occurred. There he goes in the steel cage. There's Ed Francis making sure he's locked in. The World Championship match. In goes Heenan. They'll lock it up. The big padlock. Match will begin in a moment with Rick Martel. Yes, Rick Martel, who is wrestling at the moment in the Midwest, USA and Montreal. The sensational French-Canadian Rick Martel will try and win the World Heavyweight Championship belt from Bockwinkel, but Bockwinkel took advantage of the referee's absence and threw Martel out on the concrete floor of the Blaisdell Arena. There he is, one of the most popular wrestlers to appear in Hawaii, from the mainland, from Montreal, Canada, French-Canadian. Bockwinkel doesn't waste any time. Look at him pounding away. That's why he's the world champion. He never lets up. 250 pounds. Martel, 237. Just a young man. Bockwinkel hooks the arm. It's an arm stretch. And Bockwinkel's telling the referee, make him open up that fist. You can't hit with a closed fist. You can use an elbow smash, but not with a closed fist. Open hand, yes. Okay, a match can end in several different ways. The referee could disqualify one of the men, the match would end. A wrestler can be counted out of the ring after he's counted on the floor of the arena. 10 seconds. It is 10 now. There's Heenan, Bobby the Brain Heenan. He calls himself Pretty Boy Bobby Heenan, but most of the fans call him the Brain. Anyway, you can be counted outside the ring. You can be counted down in the ring. 3 seconds, 1/20th of a minute, 1 and 2 and 3, and that's very hard to hold someone down for 3 seconds, as you amateur wrestlers know. And of course, you can make a man submit. Now, Rick Martel said he couldn't get out of that hold to the referee, and he was in so much pain that he just couldn't stand it. He can submit. That is also regarded as a fall. Those are the ways that a match can end. The referee now telling Bockwinkel, if you pull the hair and I see it, I'll break it. Wrestling every other Saturday on Channel 13, Polynesian Championship Wrestling, and I'll be doing it for you, narrating the matches. Some beauties we have for you. Lord James Blears, yapping away at ringside, what I always love to do. Is it yapping or yakking? Ah, that young lady. Gosh, she's been to the wrestling since Al Karasik ran the old Civic Auditorium, opened in 1928. Before my time. How old was I then? I was born in 1923, so you can figure it out. Manchester, England. All the way to Hawaii. Rick Martel, there he is. A handful of hair. I saw it. Of course, I was at a different angle from the referee, and that's why the referee did not break it. A referee cannot break it by the fans telling him to break it. A good referee, and Nolan is a good referee, will only break what he sees. That's a big ring. It's 24 feet inside, one of the largest rings in the United States. They're usually 18 or 20 feet at the most. It's 24. It's like running a 100-yard dash when you crisscross. And of course, Friday nights we have Wrestling Hawaii. We'll be giving you information on Wrestling Hawaii about your favorite wrestling stars who will be coming here to Hawaii, as well as Polynesian Championship Wrestling, the program you're watching now. There's Bobby Heenan, a great wrestler himself. in the cage. Why is he in that cage? You know, you fans, your 8,000, 9,000 fans who were there, because about 4 weeks prior to this match, he interfered with Rick Martel, causing Rick Martel to lose the World Championship. He had it within his grasp. So they locked him in the cage. Ed Francis had locked him up. And so that he wouldn't come charging out of the locker room and do something, he was locked up at ringside. Striped shirt man. Next Friday night, you'll see me in a shirt like that on Mr. White Death. Magnum. I hope they don't leave me on the cutting floor. I'm sure they put me in a little bit. But okay. Back in a moment, sports fans, with more action following this message and a word from King Tor Kamaka.
It's Holiday Bowl action as the BYU Cougars take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Don't miss the Holiday Bowl via satellite, Friday night at 6:30 here on KITV Channel 4.
Okay, sports fans, well, a couple of weeks have elapsed since you saw these two men battling it out at the Blaisdell Arena. The AWA World Heavyweight Champion Nick Bockwinkel and Rick Martel of Montreal, Canada, one of Hawaii's big favorites. There's the fans sitting ringside and all over the arena. 8,732 fans jammed into the Blaisdell to see these two great athletes. I promise you the conclusion. This is it. We'll find out what happens as the referee, Nolan Rodriguez. Merry Christmas, Nolan. Merry Christmas to all the wrestling fans. I'll say it at the end of the show, I'm sure, but if I forget, you got my wishes. I came back from Japan a couple of weeks ago, and Hurricane Eva devastated my block, just wiped out the ocean out in Makaha. And so I've been digging ditches for a while. Look at this, open over. There he is, leg sweep, takes his man down. Kicks, kicks, kicks again, kicks the leg. The flat of the foot, just like a drop kick, dives down with the arm across the leg. The fans love it, jumping up and down. The girls, mostly the girls, for Rick Martel. There's Rick Martel going to town on Nick Bockwinkel, and Bockwinkel, the world champ, is in trouble. And the Hurricane is hitting the... There's Bobby Heenan, Bobby the Brain Heenan. Pretty boy, Bobby Heenan, in a cage at ringside so that he cannot interfere. Well, the Hurricane passed 2 weeks ago, but it's the Hurricane is happening at the Blaisdell to Nick Bockwinkel. It's Hurricane Martel. He goes over, getting advice from Bobby the Brain Heenan, who's locked in a cage at ringside. The referee's counting Bockwinkel outside the ring. Out goes Martel, grabs him, slams him head first into the steel cage. Bockwinkel is down. He could be counted out. He's right there on the concrete floor of the Blaisdell Arena. And Rick Martel, the sensational French-Canadian who took Hawaii by storm. Bockwinkel slow getting up, gets slammed into the apron. Head first, that can knock you silly. The count is on. Nolan is counting. Bockwinkel knows to stay out of that ring as long as he can and just beat that count back in. Kicking the leg again. Martel has been attacking that leg of Bockwinkel. He's found a weak spot somewhere, and he's keeping after it. The mark of a good wrestler. Gene Kaniski. Remember big Gene Kaniski was an NWA World Champ. He has two sons wrestling now. One of them a professional wrestler, the other the amateur champion of Canada. How about that? Undefeated. And so the sons follow the fathers. Bockwinkel pounds his man. Nick Bockwinkel's dad, Warren Bockwinkel, was former world champ. Big German wrestler from St. Louis, Missouri. I had the pleasure of meeting Lou Thesz in Japan, 7-time world champion. He was refereeing a big match in Tokyo, in which I was involved, and Lou Thesz looking great. The great wrestler of all time, Lou Thesz. Bockwinkel, meanwhile, takes his man, pounds him in the turnbuckle. This time, I don't know what he's going to do, but he grabs him and slams him in the other turnbuckle. And Rick Martel is in a lot of trouble. The girls are squealing as Rick Martel gets hit. Bockwinkel grabs him again, puts him over the rope, and those are steel cables. Choking him, worrying him, wearing him down. Flips him back in the ring. Bockwinkel still limping on the left leg. Goes after his man, takes him on the other side, pushes him over the cable, holds him, pushes him, whips him back in the ring as Nicky Bockwinkel showing the championship style that made him world champion. 1, 2, 1, 2, and Bockwinkel nearly had the match. Rick Martel in a lot of trouble. Bockwinkel, side headlock, pounds his man, grabs him again. Flying tackle. Bockwinkel hit him with his man with a tackle, but down he went himself. They're both weary. They both tired. Martel looking for the ropes, trying to pull himself out. He does. He gets to the ropes. Bockwinkel going after him, gets an elbow smash from Rick Martel. Rick Martel's on the warpath now. Slams Bockwinkel in the turnbuckle. Bobby the Brain Heenan outside the ring, anxiously watching his man being pounded. A drop kick. Bockwinkel is down. Martel drop kicks again. Lightning drop kicks by Rick Martel. Grabs his man, a flying mare. Puts him in the middle of the ring. The big knee across the throat. There's Bobby the Brain Heenan, worried now. Bockwinkel slingshot in the ropes. Big back. Oh, I thought it was a body drop. No, he holds it for an aeroplane spin. Martel spinning his man around and around in the middle of the ring. This could be the end for Bockwinkel. Down he goes. Martel dives on him. 1, 2. Whoa! Bockwinkel kicked out at 2.5. Bockwinkel out 2.5 seconds. He just made it. Dives out of the ring onto the floor. He's in a daze. Out of the ring goes Rick Martel. Jumps down on the floor. Takes Bockwinkel. Slings him back in the ring. He wants to beat him in the middle of the ring and win the world championship. Goes in the ring. The fans are jumping up and down, going wild for their favorite, Rick Martel. Martel grabs him now, slings him in the ropes, goes for the abdominal stretch, grabs it in the middle of the ring. Bockwinkel's in trouble. All he has to do is say uncle now, and the title changes hands. The referee's standing close, screaming. Bobby the Brain Heenan saying, no, don't give in, Bockwinkel. Don't give in. Bockwinkel slings his man loose. A strong, tough man, 252 pounds. Nick Bockwinkel. He grabs Martel now. Side headlock into the referee. The referee is down. Rodriguez knocked out. He's knocked out. Bockwinkel staggering up in the air. A big giant body slam by Martel. He covers him. There's nobody to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's down. The referee is also down. Martel grabs the referee. Come on. He says, wake up, Nolan. I've got the champ beat. Bockwinkel, meanwhile, coming to his feet. Here it is again. Another big body slam. Martel covers him. Nolan. Rodriguez crawling over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least 5 seconds. He was down again. The fans are going wild. Martel picks him up. Drags him over. Bockwinkel. Small package. 1, 2, 3, and Martel is down. Bockwinkel grabbed him in a small package, hold and held him down. There's a long shot of the Neil Blaisdell Center Arena. Martel's going crazy. He can't believe it. He had the champ down for at least 12 seconds. 2 times 6. But the fans are going wild. Bockwinkel's flat on his back. But he did grab the small package and held Martel for 3 seconds. Martel can't believe it. There's Bobby the Brain Heenan. Bobby Heenan happy now that his man has held on to the World Heavyweight Wrestling Championship. There's Bobby Heenan in the cage, somebody holding up a sign and saying something. There's the World Championship belt. Bockwinkel once again holding on, barely holding on to the World Heavyweight crown. There he is in the middle of the ring, Nick Bockwinkel. There's a beautiful belt. Everybody's charging for it, trying to get it. There's a lot of noise at ringside, a lot of action. Fans can't believe it. They're stunned that their favorite didn't make it. There's Ed Francis coming down to the ring, undoing the cage. Heenan grabs him. They pounding Ed Francis, sling him in the cage, kick him, both kick him. Heenan and Bockwinkel hold Ed Francis in there. And here comes somebody at ringside. They slam the cage shut. And Russ Francis charges down, pounding away at Heenan. They're the fans. They want to get into it, too. Okay, sports fans, there's Ed. And we'll be back in a moment with a wrap-up following this message. Afternoon of wrestling on Polynesian Championship Wrestling. Bockwinkel and Martel. That feud's been going on for a couple of years and still going on. Ed Francis was mingled in that. You saw Russ Francis of the 49er football team. He was around ringside, and we saw just about everybody in that melee, that little half riot at ringside at the Blaisdell Arena. And that's the type of wrestling that, not the type of wrestling, but the kind of action that we hope to see in 1983. A lot of new faces coming. They're not all, a lot of the old faces are gone. Not forgotten, but gone. But there's new faces coming up all the time, and the regulars who people love to see. By the way, everybody, I'd like to say to you now, a very, very Merry Christmas from Polynesian Championship Wrestling, and a Happy New Year, and also from Wrestling Hawaii. All the very best to everybody, all the wrestling fans in Hawaii. Happy New Year. Mele Kilikimaka, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. This is Lord Blears for... Nope.